G'day, Shane Dowling here from kangaroocourtofaustralia.com. Now last week, former New South Wales Deputy Premier John Barilaro settled his defamation case with Jordan Shanks, who produces a YouTube channel, Friendly Jordies. But the case is far from over because John Barilaro is still suing Google, who own YouTube, and that case looks like it's going to hearing in March next year. My viewpoint is that John Barilaro will withdraw before then. Because I think there's too many potential landmines in that hearing that would do a lot more damage to John Barilaro's reputation than he'd achieve by following through with the defamation case, even if he won. And there's to be a huge question mark over whether he'd win anyhow. But I think it's worth sort of having a good look at the settlement with Friendly Jordies. Now, Friendly Jordies is going to pay $100,000 in legal fees for John Barilaro. That relates to two applications that Friendly Jordies filed. One was to have the matter heard by a jury, which he failed in that, and also to have the parliamentary privilege protection that John Barilaro is afforded, being a politician, have that waived, which he failed in that application as well. So he's going to pay $100,000 in legal fees, but in the apology he's given is fairly limited in relation to saying that he apologises for any hurt feelings that John Barilaro might have had. He doesn't apologise for calling him a crook or a criminal or a perjurer or anything like that. And he's only going to have limited editing of the videos that he published. He's not going to have to withdraw them fully or take them down. And so some people might argue, well, he raised over $1 million for that court case. He should have followed through. Well, I think there's a couple of things to look at. Number one, Google are standing their ground and they're going to follow through. So I think it would have been a waste of money for having two parties paying separate legal bills in what is essentially the same case. Not essentially, it is the same case. Now, so on that basis, I think Friendly Jordies was better off paying the $100,000 and moving on, because the rest of the money can be focused on defending Friendly Jordies producer Christo Lanka, who is still facing criminal charges. And even though Friendly Jordies has settled the defamation matter, Friendly Jordies, Jordan Shanks, could end up being called as a witness in the Google matter. So John Barilaro's position isn't greatly better off. He's had a slight win, if that, because Friendly Jordies isn't silenced. The only thing he has agreed not to do is comment on John Barilaro's personal life, which is alleged affairs, obviously. And that's one of the landmines I'm talking about that could explode in John Barilaro's face if he follows through with his defamation case against Google, because they blocked a video in Australia where Jordan Shanks, or Friendly Jordies, rang up John Barilaro, got through on his mobile and said, have you had any extramarital affairs? And John Barilaro's hung up. To me, it's a nothing video, but John Barilaro complained and Google blocked it. So the truth behind that potentially comes out during the defamation case. So that alone, to me, would be a good argument for why John Barilaro should withdraw the defamation case against Google, unless he wants to go forward and potentially have alleged affairs exposed. Other than that, some people might say, well, look, there's $900,000 at least in Friendly Jordies' fund. One of the things there is that if he hadn't raised so much, potentially John Barilaro would have followed through with his defamation case. Let's say Friendly Jordies only raised 10 or 20 grand. I think John Barilaro would have used the big stick of the ongoing legal dispute to try and silence Jordan Shanks. But the fact that he raised $1 million, that said to John Barilaro, he's got one hell of a fight on his hands, and that in itself would have intimidated to some degree, or not so much intimidated, but made John Barilaro face up to the financial reality. If he's going to go forward and draw this out, Jordan Shanks and Friendly Jordies have got the money to go with it. So even though they haven't spent all that money on the defamation case, having that money in the kitty and that being known publicly is good leverage to help settle the matter. and that money can now be better spent on Christo Lanka's potential criminal charges. Not potential, he is facing criminal charges. And so is Jordan Shanks. Actually, I don't think they ever will follow through with the criminal charges against Jordan Shanks, but the police have alluded that they're still giving it consideration. My viewpoint is that the Christo Lanka matter will probably be withdrawn, probably just before Christmas, where it gets less media coverage, because I can't see it going forward. If that goes forward to hearing, it's going to be hugely embarrassing for the New South Wales Police. And also, the evidence that will come out will be great evidence for a potential lawsuit against the New South Wales Police for wrongful arrest, etc. Other than that, make sure you follow my YouTube channel, subscribe to it, and also I'll be publishing an article on this matter in the next day or so, so visit my website, Kangaroo Court of Australia, and make sure you sign up for the free email subscription, and every time I post a new article, you'll get an email saying there's one there to be read. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.